Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. We kind of came in here like a whirlwind. Hi, my friend.
Hello. We're matching sort of different shades of red, but and I've got my red.
I need my shades, man.
I hope not. But you look lovely.
You look lovely. And I was just saying, I never wear red lipstick. It's just not my thing. And because it screams to me makeup. I don't know. But anyway, I admire women that do, especially if they do a perfecully drawn lip. There's something really admirable about that. But the reason I hate it is because I have two hairy dogs at home, and inevitably I have some sort of dog hair in my lip, and I have to like smear it off, and then it's all over my face, right?
Oh, funny. No, you look great.
Oh, well, thank you. So do you.
And I'm thrilled to be here because in a little while we're going to be joined via Skype from an autism mom who invented these games. We're going to talk with her, and we're going to play a little bit. You and I, we're going to have some fun and play these games. And I don't think that I've even told you this, but every time that you buy one of these games, there is a benefit to Autism Care and Treatment Today.
I did not know that.
How fabulous is that?
I'm shilling these everywhere, man.
And they're super duper fabulous, and you know you're supporting the creativity of an autism mom, and they're easily transportable.
And who is more creative than an autism mom?
Hello, toy of the day. So loving that. Chris Budd's going to be with us after the next break, and then at the end, in the second half of the show, we have Joanne Lara coming, and we're going to talk.
That ball of energy.
Yes.
Get ready.
I know. I know.
And she's going to be decked in head to toe in like a Holly outfit or something.
We'll see. Well, she'll come in. She always dresses. She reminds me of Judy Garland. She comes in and sometimes she's got, she's like in flats and she looks like she's about to do a concert in flats, but she's got the spunk. She's spunky hair, but she's helping to take a group of people, young people, and get them ready for jobs. It's called Autism Works Now, and it's been going all fall, and they've got some exciting things happening.
And I want to ask Joanne Laura something I've always wondered about her, but don't know.
Okay.
What inspired her to do this work in the field of autism? I have no idea, and that always fascinates me. Because if I'm not mistaken, she's not an autism mom.
She's not an autism mom, but wait till you hear her answer because I've asked her
because
this before.
I love hearing the motivation for this.
Yes, and it's amazing. It's a great story.
The inspiration.
The inspiration. Now, I covered briefly a story that was hot in the news yesterday. It's hot in the news again today, featured in Huffington Post and on every single
the antidepressant thing?
Yes, the antidepressants.
I know, it's everywhere. Why is this everywhere?
It's interesting because it's everywhere, and it started immediately that it was everywhere saying, "Oh, antidepressants linked to autism,"
and it's a JAMA study.
But the story, the story continues to morph with people saying, "but don't go off of your meds because of it."
Right.
and it's such a slight. It's less than 1%.
Yeah,
risk.
I mean, really. There are a lot of women out there that, I'm sorry, if they went off their meds, they'd start self-medicating.
Absolutely, and that's not
maybe
good either.
Drinking.
Absolutely.
But everything has to be taken.
Yes.
This in particular, I just, when things catch fire like this, when other things that are far more flammable don't even get a spark.
Exactly. That's one of the things that the autism community is talking about is why is this getting all the press coverage that it's getting when it's less than 1%? It's like 0.75% increase. And there are other things that get, have
right, like the
question.
definitive study that linked African-American baby boys to MMR vaccines. It's a definitive thing, but it got no coverage.
It's amazing what gets coverage and how it gets coverage.
Yeah.
So I do think that part of this is that now the pharmaceutical companies are promoting that people talk about that it's no big deal, don't. But it's just another, I saw somebody, an autism mom, who wrote and said, well, yet another way that it's our fault. Let's do everything we can to prove that it's the mom's fault and not look for anything else.
Thank God I'm not considering getting pregnant. Not that could happen. That would be a miracle. It would make the news for one of the miracles of the year at 60, me getting pregnant. But at any rate, at least I don't have to go off my SSRI.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Well, and I've said this for a while. He's a semi-regular here on the show, Dr. David Berger in Florida. If anybody is getting pregnant or thinking getting pregnant in my life, I say to them, go talk to Dr. Berger.
Right.
Dr. Berger will look at your blood work, look at everything that you're doing, and he has been able for the last 5 years to minimize risks for women who are more prone to have a child on the autism spectrum, and there have been zero births.
I wonder what studies, this is me thinking aloud, and then we need to move on.
Yeah.
I wonder what studies, though, it's interesting that during the 1950s, when they were so, diagnosed, let's say the 60s and 70s, there were so few diagnosed children with autism.
Right.
Think of the heavy drinking and smoking that went on in those days that everybody did up until the 9th month. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And so, I don't know. It seems like, yes, they're making this a culprit because it's something...
Well, it's one of the things that has changed, right? We're all looking at what changed since 1984 to see what could be causing this rate to go up so exponentially. And everybody's got their theories on this, but this is, it's research, it's information.
Yeah, it's information.
And good things for parents to know. I wish that the study had a control group that had women that were depressed who didn't take the medication. Hello.
Thank you.
That would have been me.
Hello.
And I still had the child with autism.
Could you run for president, please? Okay, go ahead.
No, thank you.
All right.
No, thank you. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Chris Budd. I am shuffling the cards because Miss Nancy Alspaugh-Jackson and I are going to play a little catch-up with Chris. So you're going to hear about throwing down the gauntlet. It's not that kind of a game.
Okay, good.
The whole thing about the way you win is that you get to know each other.
Good.
Isn't that great?
Oh, okay.
And you have conversation.
I can't wait for Wyatt to do this with his therapist.
Exactly. Ooh. Very fun. So stay tuned. We're going to be back in just a minute with mom game designer Chris Budd. Welcome back to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. We're so excited. We've been busy chatting during the break with our next guest, Chris Budd, who's joining us via Skype from Iowa. Mm-hmm. So, Chris,
what town in Iowa, Chris?
Oh, a little town called Delmar, Iowa.
Delmar, Iowa. Okay.
Very fun.
But out of a little town came a big idea.
And Chris is an autism mom, and that's part of how we heard about her and her game. But now, games, and now I'm in love with these two games. We've got Ketchup Game, which is so clever. Looks like a ketchup bottle, and it's Catch Up, which is all we ever want to do as autism parents, is have our kids catch up. And I love this one, Relish the Moment, in its little relish jar. So, Chris, we're so excited about this, and we wanted to start with having you tell us a little bit about you, because we understand that you're an autism mom. Tell us about you.
Yes, well, my third child, when he was about 2.5 years old, was diagnosed with autism. And, I didn't handle that very well, but when I was, thinking about that statement, I don't think any of us handled that real well for a while, at least. And then we kind of have to pull ourselves up and start in. And I think that's what we've all done pretty much with autism. So Logan was 2.5 when he was diagnosed, and I had gone to a family reunion that July, and it was a huge family reunion. I have a large extended family, and no one said anything to me about my son, and I thought, that's kind of odd. And just again, about 6 months later, miscommunication, and I darn near missed a funeral from one of my uncles. And I just got to thinking on my, way, we've got to do something to catch up when we have such little time together, Christmases or, your holidays, your family reunions. And I really want to know what's going on in their lives. And it was so funny is I had about an hour and a half commute back then. And I thought, I just want to catch up with everybody. And right then, a ketchup bottle appeared above my head that the idea went off. And I thought, that's kind of cute. Maybe I can do something with this.
And did you have a background in creating games?
No, my background is actually in the medical field. I have been doing MRI scans, CAT scans, x-rays for 25 years now. So I'm not a creative person.
No, wait a minute, Chris. You are a creative person.
Well, I believe it's divine intervention.
Absolutely.
because I'm not that creative.
Well, you are now. Okay, so keep going. So you said catch up. We interrupted you. I did.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. So we, I brought the games. So I created the games, and I was thinking, I just want to bring 5 questions to the next family gathering because I want to know what's really, really going on in their lives, my cousins' lives. And so I thought, I wonder what 5 questions. Well, 5 questions turned to 10, and then it turned to 50, and then I'm thinking, this could be, a lot of fun. So I created Catch Up, and my older 2 played it. They liked it. It was good, and they can play it with your grandparents. You can play it. It's multi-generation that you can play at the same time. And so the kids, they played it. They said, it's a good game, but nobody wins. And I said, really? I don't know about your kids, but my kids love to taunt the loser of any type of game. So we created Relish the Moment with some challenge cards in there. And the winners of that is just basically based on pure luck. It's not academics. It's not athletics.
Right.
It's just luck.
Great.
Okay, so we thought we would play just a little bit of catch up. Now we were going rogue yesterday and just asking questions. There is a dice, and we have to say that I love well thought out games that store well. These bottles open up.
You press it.
Yes.
Right here. Yeah.
And so they open up, and the cards and the instructions and the dice all go in. I love going on vacation and throwing this into the suitcase.
Absolutely, so
that
easy.
It's all right there. And I'm sure that there are more. There's a longer way to do it, but basically the dice here you can throw that, and it gives you a choice of easy, hard, choose. And choice and all. But we were having fun yesterday, Chris, just picking out cards and asking people around. We had people in the office playing it, and we learned so much about each other. Kelby asked the question, if you could be any piece of furniture, what piece of furniture would you be? And it became the thing all afternoon. People were asking it of each other and saying, my goodness, you learned so much. Amy said she'd be a hammock. Now, does that not surprise you? I said I would be a futon. Kelby said he would be a rocking chair.
That's what I was going to be.
Were you really? Well, see, you guys are good Southern people who are caring and nice. Chris, if you could be a piece of furniture, what would you be?
Well, now this goes with the furniture. I actually want to be a lamp because then I'm bright.
I
see you.
that.
We see you now. We see you.
I love that. So,
okay.
In any case, so do you want to ask me a question and I'll ask you a question, Miss
shall.
Nancy? Okay, ask a question. Look at your cards.
I will.
I've already picked one for you. Do you want me to ask yours and you think?
Ooh.
Okay.
I don't. If I ask the hard one, are you in need of anything? The answer will be all day. Okay, hold on.
Am I in need of that much? Oh
No, we all are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy. We all are. Let's
Okay.
face it.
All right.
Every autism mom is in need of something.
Okay.
Easy. Choose a different generation to grow up in. I like that one.
Oh, I definitely would have grown up in the 40s. Man, I would have loved that. Only for the shoulder pads, right? I always want to have shoulder pads and everything and I still have a lot of 80s clothes that have shoulder pads in them. Plus which, I love that whole thing about World War II where they say they were the greatest generation.
Oh, yeah.
Hard times, but what an amazing time to
Can
live.
I pick?
Yeah,
Can I
what
tell you? Yes,
generation? Yeah, absolutely.
We're sharing.
Yes.
I was going to say 40s, but I the 20s, the whole flapper thing, Daisy Buchanan,
Oh, yeah.
Great Gatsby.
You would have rocked that. Okay, Chris, what generation would you?
And Ragtime.
Yes.
I lost sound. If you guys lost any sound.
Okay, can you hear us now?
Yep. Now
Okay.
I can. Yep.
What
Perfect.
generation, if you could pick a different generation to be from, what generation would you pick?
I would like to try the 60s and 70s.
There you
well,
go.
actually, to be born in the 50s, to experience the 60s, the crazy.
Yeah, I did that.
Woodstock.
Yeah.
It would have been that.
I did it. Trust me, it's overrated. Okay.
Okay. And so these are just some of the questions and like I was going to ask you, what's your biggest regret?
Lord have mercy.
You got to think about it. Maybe not for.
It's not for
this
public consumption.
All right.
Truly.
Okay. All right. But you begin to see, and there are easy questions and hard questions on each one of the cards. And And I love these questions. You begin to see that they're conversation starters. And especially for our kiddos who are on the autism spectrum, what a great icebreaker for kids who can talk, but they have trouble being able to have a conversation. I'm looking forward to playing this with Jem.
I'm really looking forward to playing it with Wyatt and Wyatt's therapist to help him with, some of these to process. I think it's just great, Chris.
But we should say, not invented for individuals who are on the autism spectrum, really invented, like
for
you
everybody,
said, for
families.
For a family reunion.
So how do we get
right.
it? How do we get it?
Yes. So talk to us about where we go to purchase the game, Chris.
Okay, well, they are online right now at catchupgame.com. So it's CATCHUP.
And you're selling this all yourself. You're not going through a major toy company or anything like that.
Nope. This is just me, myself, and I, and my husband, and our kids. We're in this together. So
it's amazing. Now, what if some big, who does Monopoly? What if they came and said, we want to give you gazillions of dollars for this?
I'd say okay.
Okay.
Two gazillion and it's done.
Yeah, and they could do a little percentage on top to act today, right? We'll negotiate.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
good.
great.
Well,
right.
and
I might have to be your agent.
Viewers should know that Chris has generously offered to give part of the proceeds for every game that you purchase to Autism Care and Treatment
Our
Today.
kids are it's gonna help grants. Thank you so much, Chris.
So not only can you get one or both of these games and have them and enjoy them and use them with your kids who are on the autism spectrum, and what a great thing during the holidays if you've got grandparents and aunts and uncles coming to visit. Play them with your family and have them play them with your kids on the spectrum, and you'll be helping autism.
I'm going to take it over. The respite home that my husband is at is primarily a seniors home, but they're letting him there for medical respite, and this would be so great. I've met so many great seniors over there. They would love this.
I remember being at a family get-together and somebody said something to me, they weren't giving any attention to my son, and I'm the kind of parent where I was like in their face about it. And I said, hey, excuse me, I know you're talking to everybody else. Why aren't you talking to my kid? And, you need to put forth a little bit of effort. And they said, well, it's kind of difficult to have a conversation with him. And I said, yes, he has something called autism spectrum disorder, and one of his difficulties is having a conversation. But he'll never do it better unless you have a conversation with him. Now, that wasn't the best conversation. If I had just put this game in their hands and said, play this with him, then he would have conversation starters, they would have conversation starters, and that whole thing would have been a little bit more holiday-esque than me just in somebody's face saying, you need to put forth more effort. So get the game instead.
Good example.
Well, and it's the truth. Yeah. I was not happy about it when they said, well, it's kind of hard to have a conversation with him. Yes, it's hard to be around you too, but we put up with you. That is what I said.
There's a famous Winston Churchill quote where she said, you, sir, are drunk. And he said, yes, but my dear, I will wake up in the morning sober and you shall still be ugly.
And there we have it.
Okay.
Chris, we love these games. We just think it's absolutely wonderful. Again, we want to tell people, go to www.catch.game.com. So catch, as in catch the ball, up, game.com. Order both of the games. So you get a discount if you get both of them, and Act Today gets a portion of the proceeds.
What could be better?
Make it happen.
You make care and treatment happen for kids with autism. And
absolutely.
Believe me,
and
we just gave out grants, and
it's tough.
We only did a little chipping away at what we need to get to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, thank you for this ingenious game. We can't wait to see what you come out with next. And thanks for being with us today on the show.
Have a wonderful Christmas.
You too.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye. Really wonderful. And we didn't even get a chance to play Relish the Moment, but these are really fun too. Great questions, and I think especially for our kiddos.
Give me those two.
So,
what's the easy?
Well, okay. So for on this one, how much time do you spend on a computer or a cell phone? Our kids can answer that.
Lord,
Where do you go to school? So some of them are that kind of easy. Have you ever gone hunting? If you could change one thing in your life, what would it be?
That's really
what do you
hard.
like to do during your free time? Tell about where you live. So it's all a wide gamut that there are questions in here that you can get your kids to answer. And, having them listen to the answer to the questions that you give or your parents give, everybody gets to know each other better. Smart games. Love them. Catch up, game, and relish the moment. Check them out. catchupgame.com. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Joanne Laura's here, and we're going to give an update on Autism Works Now. Stick with us. Welcome back to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. Nancy and I are so excited because joining us in the studio, yay!
Joanne Laura.
I'm so happy
You're
to be
sparkly.
Here with
You
I'm
are
a little
sparkly.
for the holidays.
Yeah.
We had a whole discussion about what you were going to wear, and I said you remind me of Judy Garland sometimes. And
If I only had the talent.
in the
Going
best
off to a
possible
dance
way,
lesson.
you remind me of Judy
Yeah.
Garland. And so you're such a light, and we love it when you're here, and you're a spitfire ball of energy. And so this is our last Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy of the year, and you're our last guest of the
Yeah.
year.
I'm honored.
Well, we're honored
and
to
so
have you.
should be. No,
That's exactly right.
No, we're thrilled to have you here. And the last time you were here, you were talking about your book, but we didn't have a book to hold
That's
in
right.
hand. So I'm going to hold this up.
Lovely.
Autism Movement Therapy Method. So wonderful. And the subtitle, Wake Up the Brain.
Waking up the brain.
Waking Up the Brain. With a foreword by Dr. Stephen Shore, which is a fabulous thing. He's in the news a lot this week. And
That's right.
wonderful that we can have you here. But and tell everybody to get this. Amazon, is that the place to go to get this?
Or my website.
Oh, we'll get it from Joanne's website. Do that.
Get it from my website, yes.
But we're also here having you here today to talk about an update on Autism Works Now.
Yes.
You had been with us throughout the year talking about how you were raising funds to start this, and the plan was to start it. But now you've had classes, you've had things going on all this fall. So
And I saw you out at the barn with kids. I was up where we donated our horses, and I'm on the
That's
board
right.
of Special Spirit, and
With
you had a
Eva
group
Lund. Special
with
Spirit.
Ava.
I love
You had a group of kids there one day when I was there with my son Wyatt while he was
I heard
taking.
you were there. Yes, I was not there that
Oh,
day.
but your kids were there.
But in my partner,
Your
Susan
partner.
Osborne,
Yes,
was
she
there with
was.
the kids. Yes, it's an incredible program, which is a direct result of the Temple Grandin and Friends Autism Works Now event that we had last May.
Yes.
And what we wanted to do was start a workshop that incorporated pre-employment skills. Because so many of our kids, as you know, they're transitioning at 18 or 22 from a high school setting, either with a certificate of completion or a diploma, but they don't have those fundamental skills in order to get a job.
Yeah.
I.e., you have to have an email to get a job. You cannot have a job without an email.
No.
Do you know that most of our kids don't have emails, don't know how to send
Really?
email correspondence? No.
Wyatt learned that with
Wow.
his therapist.
No. And let's face it, you have a job, that's how you get all your information
Right.
about your job.
Right.
If somebody
Yes.
emails you and tells don't come in at
course.
4, come in
Right.
at 5,
Right.
and all of a sudden we don't have a job.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's just another
Yeah,
thing that
of
puts us
course.
back of the line.
Right.
Well,
So-
you know, these are the things that are the basics one needs to know to get a job, right,
Absolutely,
Joanne? And as you
absolutely.
said, you've discovered a lot of our kids don't have those basics, and the goal and the mission here is to teach our kids the basics.
That's right.
Teach our kids on the spectrum.
Get them
We
ready.
have 7 candidates, as we call them, that have been coming since September because the program's been up since September. We meet every Thursday night for 2 hours, 3 of the weeks in the month, and the 4th week in the month, we have an employer visitation, or we call it a field trip.
Right.
So the first in September we went to, we're very, very pleased with everyone that's armed us in Los Angeles. We went to HR for Broadcasting at Fox Studios. She couldn't have been nicer, Lindsay Beams. She met with us in the big conference room. She talked about resumes, what it should look like, what does HR look for, the keywords, if you will,
Okay.
that they're looking for. They all brought their resumes, and they did a mock interview with her.
Fun.
Which was incredible, one-on-one.
Yeah.
And she really went the distance. Then the second month we went to Eva Lund, Special
Yes,
Spirit,
Special Spirit's
because
ranch.
there are lots of jobs on horse ranches.
Lots
Yes.
of them.
Taking care of, feeding, grooming, walking, goes on and on and on. And many of our kids, as we know, love animals.
Yes.
Then last month in November, we went to the Airtel Plaza It's a wonderful little hotel right on the Van Nuys Airport tarmac, and we met with HR there, Kevin Panay. He again in the conference room treated us like royalty. Talked about being on time, dependability are the things that everyone looks for, and when you go for an interview. He says he never gives a job to somebody that doesn't email him afterwards and say thank you very much for seeing me.
Wow.
And a lot of our kids are don't want to. They think it's pushy, or somebody else will tell them, oh, don't be so pushy.
Right.
Yes, be pushy when you immediately after you see. Thank you so much for coming, for seeing me, and and not don't keep calling every day.
Right.
Don't call every day. Because we do have that
Right.
on the other end of the stick.
I don't know. I call that persistence. I think it's good.
Persistence, yes, but not every day.
And for our kids, persistence can be perseveration,
Yes,
which
that's
can be
true.
a warning flag of going,
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
this is not going to work.
You have to be, we have to be, it has to be facilitated,
Okay.
as I say.
Okay.
Yes.
And it should be facilitated by somebody who understands the employment world.
Yes.
And that's what we have somebody on our team that does, who has been HR for 40 years, and
Okay.
he's
great.
our advisor about, sometimes people are like, well, I'll work for $5 an hour. No, you won't.
Right.
You'll work for the minimum wage,
Right.
Right.
because that's law.
Right.
Right.
You must be paid minimum wage. But anyway, this month, tomorrow, we are going, and I'm sure you know him, Chuck Schaffler,
Of course, I know Chuck.
at
At
FX.
Chuck Saffler. He was
Saffler.
on our board.
I know.
He's on the board of Autism Speaks now.
Yes.
Will you give him my love?
Yes, I will. And they're seeing all the candidates. We're meeting, and the candidates put together
gonna have to
questions for
text
the
him.
employers.
Very good.
And we email them over prior so that they can see what the questions
Yeah.
are.
Uh-huh.
And then they ask them when we're sitting in the conference room. And that makes it kind of, one, it's an icebreaker
Yeah.
Yeah.
for everyone.
Right.
And two, it gives that kind of professionalism that we want our kids to know about.
Yeah.
We don't want charity jobs. We're not looking for people to give charity jobs.
Right.
We're looking for people to give jobs for real job skill sets.
Yes.
That means we have to go back to the drawing board and begin to teach real job skill sets. And as you know, Temple Granson and I are both advocates for a middle school and a high school vocational training program
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Right now.
Right
what are we
now.
waiting for?
What are
Right
we
now.
waiting for?
I don't understand.
I
And
understand there's some good models for that here in LA, and they're the Miller Vocational.
Miller Career and Transition Center, the
What-
best model in the country.
Is it?
China, Korea comes there. Health Group's always over there looking and seeing what's going on.
We have to have him on the show.
And I have talked to him
you
about
must
that.
have Wayne Fogelsong on the show.
I talked to him about that, and he, he's very busy, but we're going to get him on the
Okay.
show. Yes.
Okay.
He's fab. He's also he's consulting over at Leachman as well, and they're putting together this. They're trying
Leachman?
Leachman is a special ed campus too for LA Unified School
I
District.
didn't know that.
But the program he runs is called a Career and Transition Center.
Yes.
Yes.
And I've
A
heard
CTC.
a lot of great success
There are
stories out
6
of there.
of them.
Okay.
There are 6. That's not enough.
Right.
So I went down to the mayor's office.
Okay.
And I met with the mayor's liaison because
As
I
you
don't
would.
stop. And as only I will. I'm like, Mr. Obama,
By
could
the
I
way,
have 5 minutes, please?
Eric, by the
Exactly.
way, Eric Garcetti's wife has he has a nephew with autism. Just so in case.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes, he
All
told me
right.
that at the military event that I went to because we
Okay.
have our military family program.
Right.
And
I love what
I got
you
a
do.
photo op with him because you know me, I'm like you. I push my
Yeah,
way
I
in, and
Yeah. Put that right up. Yeah.
and I said, "Do you have any connection to autism?" He said, "Yes." As a matter of fact, I have a nephew. My
Oh, that's
wife's
very interesting.
Yeah, so
Well, you
can-
know, he wrote the lovely letter that was on the
Yes,
brochure for
yes,
Temple Granton and
yes,
Friends and wished us
yes,
well
good.
with our program, Autism
Yes.
Works Now.
Right.
And then he sent a liaison. He sent his Washington liaison,
Okay.
who has a son on the spectrum.
Okay.
And he said, I called him and I said, I'd like to have a meeting with you and the
right,
mayor.
right.
Uh-huh.
I didn't get the meeting with the mayor. I got a
Well,
meeting with
it's hard
him.
to get these
Right.
days.
Yeah, it's
little
hard to
going
get a
on,
meeting
little
with
going
him.
on.
That's the next time around.
Yeah, like schools shutting down in the entire LA
Yes.
district. Yeah. Okay.
So I met with, he said, you know what, Joanne, I'm the Washington liaison. And I said, you're next.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
You and I are going to Washington next, but we're going to get it all straightened out in Los
Good
Angeles
for
first so
you.
we have a
Look
good
at you.
model.
You're just a
Right.
spitfire.
She is.
Oh, I'm not stopping because 90% of our kids are unemployed. This is not right.
It's an outrageous number.
What did we do? Why did we bring in the ITP process? I'm an educator for many years, and I have a moderate to severe education specialist credential. I taught 10 years in LA Unified School District. I now teach special ed law. I've been 9 years at National University. I'm an academia, and the injustice is overwhelming, and we're still looking at interventions, and we're still going great to have all the art therapies, because I pushed so hard for years for the art therapies, i.e. autism movement therapy methods. But now I'm seeing kids that were in my classroom in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, who are 22 years old and sitting at the back of their parents' home doing nothing. And I'm like, that's not right. Now is the time for me to step up again, because we have to talk about when are these kids going to get employed, and why did we start with an ITP process?
What do you mean, an
Individualized Transition Program, which your son will be part of when he's 14.
Okay, right, the ITP. I know it, yeah.
And if they are not
Why did we start it? You mean they're not following through?
If we're not going to follow through.
That's a federal mandate that began.
And you're saying they're not doing it?
What I'm saying is we're going through the motions.
Right.
Good.
We are getting people jobs.
You're telling it like it is, and we've known this for years.
And I know it. You have children on the spectrum.
Yeah.
I have students who I adored and love and worked with for years and still follow.
Right.
Some of these kids are 23 years old, and they were 8 years old when they came to me with no language, stimming on the floor.
Right. And now they're high functioning and they're ready to work.
And now I'm like, what? They have for the next 60 years, as Joe Mantegna says, they have nothing to do.
Right.
We educate
and his
well.
daughter Mia is one of the lucky ones who's discovered. Well, she's a makeup artist, which I'm sure you know.
She is a makeup artist. And she was at the event.
And as all our kids have, my son is the most talented artist. Jem is a computer. I mean, Minecraft. He's an expert. The typical kids call Jem
for advice on video games.
Right.
So our kids have such talent.
Skills.
But here's what it is. It's called splintered skill sets.
Yes.
This is where we have to begin to educate out there.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Right.
You don't tell me something new.
Right.
You don't tell her something new.
Right.
We don't tell everyone that's viewing this, my kid can do this, and they're great at it.
But
it's called splintered skill sets. What we have to do is begin to educate. It's an education, community, employers, and our population.
Yes.
And that dialogue has to start to happen now. We have to begin the dialogue. People are not going to give our kids job for no good reason.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, what can he do? And we go, well, I'm not, or he's good at, and they go, well, you know what? We don't need that skill set.
How are we doing on
We're
time?
okay. We're okay. We should take a break soon, but we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay,
so,
we're good.
So the one thing I want to say is we're going to meet with Chuck tomorrow.
Good.
Yes.
And then in January, we go to meet with the Actors Gang.
Fabulous.
They can't wait to see us.
What about the food industry? Do you have
when we went to Airtel Plaza, we went to the back and we went through the restaurant, which we call Hospitality. It's a great place. I've been 3 times to China. Well, I'm going to China for the 3rd time, but I've been to China twice.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time being
Airtel.
taken to the special ed centers in China, in Beijing. Saw what we could take a note from China.
Okay.
They do a great job with hospitality, front of the house, back of the house, and restaurant.
Okay.
And they
Hotel,
and they're training.
Yeah.
So you should. Well, we'll talk later. I've got my mind, of course.
But that
is churning.
that vocational piece.
People to send you to.
Yes.
The vocational piece, and I wrote the article for Autism Asperger's Digest in May.
Yes.
A seat at the table. It talks about how everybody's so graduation comes and 18 or 22, everyone's throwing the party, everybody's excited. He graduated, got a diploma, and then the reality sets in. He has nowhere to go the next week.
Right.
Which is the reality in this country
Falling
and globally.
off the cliff.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go, nothing to do, and we're back to the drawing board. Parents are tired. You're kidding. I have to now go and get my son a job. I spent from 5 years till he's 22 in IEP meetings that, as my cousin says, I never want to see a room full
Tutoring,
of people talking about my daughter again. Who's now 38 years old.
Wow.
And she's still, when you bring up IEPs, I don't ever want to see a group of people talking about my daughter again.
Yeah.
I mean, she has traumatic brain
stress
from
syndrome,
it.
yes.
And as most parents do.
Yes.
And we know what that is. But going back to the ITP process, and that's
We
where
just
we
had
have
this
to hang our-
conversation yesterday. I called Shannon and was like, Yeah, I was at school and there was a thing that fell through the cracks, and I called her and I said, da da da. She goes, "You call an IEP and you go." And I'm like,
Yeah, call me. I'll help you.
You'll send
You'll
me
send me the
and
bulldog.
Joanne and Andrea, and the three of us will go in. We'll be the Wicked Witch of the West, the East, and
Las
the North.
Virgenes School District will never be the same.
The thing that you want to do and remember,
They'll have post-traumatic
Yes.
stress disorder.
what you want to remember for that is that you want to make sure that you have your ducks in a row as far as law goes.
Yes.
Because
Of
it's really
course.
about law.
Yes.
And I'm going to go back to the ITP process again because the individualized transition plan came in about 19 years ago.
Okay.
Why? Because everyone went, hey, we're not in the 50s anymore. People are not stuffing envelopes and going home in a
Right.
shuttle bus.
Right.
You know, that's the old idea of, well, oh, well, he has a job.
It's what my
Right.
brother did, who had Down syndrome, who was
Ex-
born in 1962.
Oh, okay, absolutely.
Yeah,
right?
he
So
lived
we're-
at home with my parents. He stuffed envelopes.
Right.
The little
But
bus,
that's-
the short bus, picked him up.
Right.
He came home at 3. My mother fed him, and he sat in front of the TV. And he
And
went
guess what?
everywhere with my parents, but, you know, it was, he was capable of so much more.
But the reality is, we haven't come very far from that.
Right.
That's the
That
disappointing
scares me.
piece.
Right.
Because the ITP process was put in about 19 years ago because people around some table somewhere in Washington, I assume, said, you know, well, we need to make an effort into getting our kids in the community and working,
Yeah.
which is a big concept
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Right.
Well, how are we going to do that? Well, let's have them go 2 ways, a vocational training program or what we call a person-centered program. Now, schools love to sell you down the river on a school-centered program. Why? It's cheaper. School center means we're all about, well, what are his math scores and what are his language arts scores? Oh, great. Well, we're going to design a program just for him that's academic. Still doesn't have a skill set involved, and he still doesn't really know how to do anything with all that academia that he has up here. But we're going to call it a person-centered planning. And don't let the door hit you when you exit at 18 or 22. And don't call us. So if you don't go this route, which is a vocational training route, and we're getting sold on this, everyone's like, well, I have a person-centered planning in my IEP. Well, you want to try for the other one.
Right.
You want to try to have the public school system be teaching your child how to do something that's going to equate to a job and a life. Because a person-centered planning isn't.
Yeah.
That's the issue. We're all going here, and everyone's like, well, they're like, if they don't get it and they don't understand, and the parents are in the dark, we're going to be able to.
Can't you stop the academic and then put them in a vocational?
Well, that's what they're
Yeah,
at
but
until
go
it
22.
doesn't exist.
Yes, but Nancy, go find one. You can't get into Miller. The waiting list is 300 kids. He only takes 200, and it's 18 to 22. So when I go back, full circle back to, I went to the mayor's office.
Right.
Because I said, I want to advocate the school board in LA Unified School District to open more vocational training programs, have them be middle school to high school, and don't tell me it's not inclusive program, because I have a good idea about that. We keep the 12-year-olds off the streets and out of the gangs by bringing them into a vocational training and making it a full inclusion program.
Right.
Middle school and high school, all the kids that aren't going to go to academic route, they come to the vocational training and learn how to do something. The kids that we are losing to the gangs, we lose them to the gangs. Why? They just want to be around kids. So they can't do the academic. They get on the street. The gang guy comes over. He goes, "Hey, come over here and kick this guy over here.
Come over
on
here
his
and
knees
sell
tell me
crack
that you did
and
it."
make a fortune.
And then the biggest positive behavior support the kid has ever had is, "Hey, man, you're rocking. Want to be in our gang?" Because the school didn't want him.
Right.
Because we don't have any positive behavior support in our public school setting. It's all punishment. So here we go back to vocational training. We open up a middle school and a high school setting. It could be on the same campus. Birmingham has it's a huge campus. We've got all these different skill sets in
Right.
schools.
So what can parents do to help?
Start petitioning the school boards. The school board members are your best friend, because Beaudry is not listening in LA Unified. For those
Okay.
of you that are viewers, that's LA
Right.
Unified,
Right.
the 800-pound gorilla. They don't want to hear about an opening a vocational training program. That's a lot of dollar
But
signs.
wait a minute, doesn't the mayor understand that the less kids that are employed, the worse the economy gets?
I
I
spent
mean,
a-
this is common sense.
Right.
There you go. This doesn't take a Rhodes Scholar. It doesn't.
Our
And-
economy's going to go, we've all been saying this
If
for
we have
years.
to
If our kids
cradle
can't
to
be
grave,
employed, with the numbers
yeah.
now of autism rates, and if none of those kids are employed,
Why aren't we
why do
teaching
we
them
think
how to
that? Why
do
do we think
something?
China and everybody else is going to take over the entire country?
Mr. Obama, could I just have 5 minutes with you? Or Ed Gov, at the very, very least. it's not a concept that doesn't make any sense at all. It makes total sense. Makes total sense to train our kids. It makes total sense. What happened was we went into the beginning of the 2000s into a pendulum swing in academia that was a full inclusion swing, which is good.
Yeah.
It served its purpose. It's done well. Not all of our kids fit in a full inclusion setting, I have to say. I think it has to be case by case. Many of our kids do not thrive in a full inclusion setting, but if they do, that's where they should be. They should have the choice. Now we're all the way over here, but we've left out training and giving skill sets to individuals that are not going to go 4-year academic route.
Right.
So we have to go back to the drawing board and say, how are we going to serve these kids that are fully included and do well? And we've taught the social skill sets that they can be employed and be at Toyota, and that's a whole nother thing. I love that Microsoft is employing. These are the Asperger's, and they're looking for the next genius. That's not the majority of our kids. The majority of our kids fall right here.
You're
we
right.
want to serve those guys. It's great that Microsoft's doing that. How many kids are going to get a job? 50.
Yeah.
How many kids? 1 in 68.
Right.
So, I mean, that's ludicrous to even say, well, we're doing a good job now. Microsoft's employing
But aren't
them.
there specialized, we've had Torkil Sine from Special Eastern, you know of that program in Denmark?
Heard about that program.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
He has the father of a son with autism. And he
He's the
started.
Lego guy.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
He trains
Lego
them
guy.
using Legos to get ready to go in for
Love all
SAP.
that.
And it's specialized computer skills. That's
Yes.
what we need to be teaching our kids. And he had developed a test to determine what they're best at. Now, we have not had him on the show in, gosh, a long
It's
time.
been over
but
a year now,
You should
but-
talk to him.
I'd love to talk to him. The thing is I love that it's computer skill based. Not all of our kids are going to be computer
Right.
skill based.
No, mine's not.
See, the thing is we're all going to, we're grabbing on to, well,
Right.
my kid's a good artist. Well, he's a good, we're groveling, people. We're groveling. That shouldn't be it. It should be we're serving everybody on the spectrum from here to here in every way that we possibly can. And if his skill set's not going to be computerization in some art, and he's not great at that,
Right.
then what are we going to do for him?
Yeah.
Because is he going to spend the next 60 years of his life doing nothing at the back of his parents' house? That's not good enough for a country like this. It's absolutely not good
It's
enough
unacceptable.
for America.
It's unconscionable.
It is.
And it's
my new
wonderful
favorite
for
word.
it's wonderful
love
for you to
that
take us to church. Unfortunately, we're out of time. But I want you to give the website so people
Joanne
can go
for
and get
president.
more information.
Please.
Exactly. Please.
Website is autismmovementtherapy.org. Also, the Workability Program, which is a workplace readiness workshop that meets here in Los Angeles on Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Every Thursday. In Reseda is autismworksnow.org.
Okay.
And then they can contact me, call me. We're happy to serve to find a place for your child.
Get the book, and if you haven't, we didn't have much time to talk about autism movement therapy, but we've done other shows about that. Look and see what Joanne does, because you have certifications that are coming up. You certify people to be able to do autism movement
Going
therapy.
back to India, three cities in India, going back to China
Yes.
to do a certification.
And you do a
UK,
lot here in the United States too. For people,
I'm going
if
to
you wanna get
Ballet
certified.
Rambert.
There you go.
In April 2nd and 3rd
Wonderful.
for Autism Awareness Day. We're doing
fantastic.
certification there. And
Okay.
at Plymouth University in
Great.
UK.
Okay, so absolutely check that out. And Autism Works Now.
We're going to keep you. We'd like to have you on regularly to update us.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
some of the young people.
That's what we
Let's
want.
do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We, she and I had already talked
Let's
about
bring
that.
some
And
of
maybe
these
we
candidates.
can. Are you
Absolutely.
shooting stuff in the field?
Yeah, we can. We
Shoot
can.
some stuff and we'll
We
share it.
talked about
Oh,
that.
okay,
And I'll share
sorry,
that with
I'm
you.
behind.
I have a little business here I have to.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
Please go ahead.
So we have a show tomorrow. I just want to give you guys notice that tomorrow on the show we have Tom Bowes, the Autistic Genius, and then in the second half of the hour we're going to have Dina Kimmel from We Rock the Spectrum is coming in with a fabulous singer, Carly Moreno, who has done the music video for the song We Rock the Spectrum. They're going to be here talking about our Sensitive Santa event. I want to remind all of you that you can still sign up to be on the waiting list, but the event has sold out.
Fantastic.
The tickets are free, but you do have to have a reservation, but I encourage you to sign up for the waiting list. Also, Nancy and I wanted to take a moment here at the end of the show to wish a very happy birthday to Suzanne Wright from
Definitely,
Autism
yes.
Speaks. It is her
I'm
birthday
so
today.
glad you brought it up because
And we even made, I don't know if Kelby has time now because we're towards the end, but Kelby even made a thing. Do you have time for it, Kelby?
a birthday for Suzanne, who was an amazing lady.
Yes,
An amazing lady, and I knew her many years ago as the first lady of NBC, and now she's the first lady of autism. And Suzanne, thank you for everything you've done for our community.
Absolutely.
We admire you
love,
so
love
much.
and respect to you. And also, you have an event tomorrow, Autismo y Familia, a
yes.
conference that is happening.
Yes, you
there's
can-
there's the thing to Suzanne Wright. Happy birthday to Suzanne Wright. Kelby made that.
So
talented
sweet.
like that. But you have an event tomorrow that
We do,
that
Autismo y Familia.
that Autism Speaks.
We have it on the
had helped
helped us fund.
Yes,
and
on
it's
your
for our
website.
Spanish-speaking families, and it's all in Spanish. Gabriela Tester, our Univision anchor, is hosting. We have advocates, attorneys. We oh my gosh, Emma
Go to
Holland
Act
and
Today,
her son.
acttoday.org.
About jobs
Check it out.
and-
Get these games. You're supporting autism and an autism mom when you do. They're so cool. We're totally out of time. Kelby's going to fire me. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then,
And
give
I
your
won't
kiddos
see you.
a hug from me.
And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year from me.
And we'll be back tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.